So a few days ago, I released a video talking about how Borderlands 3 was not the war the Watcher was referring to. I spent a lot of time in that video using Nyriad's echologs to deduce what the future held for the franchise. But unfortunately in that video, I missed what was probably the biggest talking point I could have forgotten. Though, to be fair, it's not that I forgot to include this, my game just refused to give me Nyriad's final message. You see, after you collect all 30 of Nyriad's Iridian writings, you can inspect the slab in Tannis' infirmary for about 5 extra messages, each adding their own separate and unique talking points. And when I made that video, the slab wasn't giving me her final statement, which does foreshadow the importance of sirens in the future.
You know now all that I know. This was an epitaph, not for myself, but for the world I knew. I have brought ruin to the sirens, murdered the Iridians, and imprisoned a primordial force of the universe. Perhaps I have earned your hatred, or your sympathy. But that is not why I write these words. I have told you the truth, no matter its hard edges. Before I can put my fractured mind to rest, I must pass one more warning. You must never find the 7th.
The unheard of 7th siren. One that for whatever reason has become forgotten to time. Ever since Borderlands 2, it has been set lore that only 6 sirens can exist at any given moment. In this game, we learned that sirens' powers weren't unique to every single host change. There was a set of powers that transfer between person to person. So far, we know 5. Phase Walk, Phase Shift, Phase Lock, Phase Trans, and the unnamed Phase Leech. Commandant Steele's powers still remain unknown. The 6 sirens always seem to be that one piece of lore we could trust regarding sirens. But now, that's changed. The irony of Nyriad's remark talking about sirens and all of the information she gives is she never mentions the rule of 6. She only ever refers to them as sisters or a sisterhood, but never does she explicitly state that only 6 sirens can exist at any given moment. Perhaps it seems obvious with the 7th reveal warning, but how she's talked about sirens in these echoes is that they always make their way to each other.
Even when one passes and a new siren receives her markings, she always finds her way to the sisterhood. It seemed the will of the universe that sirens be together, our lives entwined like an unseen braid.
So if there was a 7th, theoretically the sisterhood she refers to involves her. She knew her and lived with her. But what makes the warning bizarre is that it's almost like Nyriad knew the future. Why warn of a 7th siren if all sirens are drawn towards each other? Based on how history has gone, it would be inevitable that they met. So there would be nothing she could do, unless she and potentially the others were capable of something. It's almost as though Nyriad knew 7 sirens existed, but something happened to drop that number to 6 from that point moving forward. So she didn't have to worry about fate finding its way because she did something that would prevent the 7th's role in anything. We must not find the 7th because the 7th is hidden somewhere undisturbed. The most obvious theory would be a prison. Nyriad's character has a huge emphasis on prisons. It was the Iridians who sought out her to help them contain the destroyer. So if she had the power and knowledge to seal what may be the universe's greatest monster, then what's to say she couldn't create some sort of other prison to contain a siren? The bump in this idea regards the 7th themselves. You see, the sirens didn't know how to stop their powers from moving to other hosts. Nyriad herself didn't wish to pass on her leeching. So when it came her time to die, what happened was the other sirens told her of a potential way to prevent the gift from moving on. She wound up sealing herself in a vault on Necrotafeo.
When my atrocity was complete and I returned home, I found no family to rejoin. The others had fled. Our braid was unraveled. My sisters scattered to the stars. But they left me a parting gift. They told me where to die, that my thread might never be picked up again. When I have written my last, I will go back to the Iridian world, to the vault there. Oh, I hope it works. This would be a brighter universe without a leech.
And if I have my lore correct, that is why Tyreen is a leech. Typhon de Leon opened her vault and had sex with his wife there, where Tyreen was conceived. That is why she became a siren. The point I'm getting at is Nyriad took a shot in the dark as to how to stop the powers from moving. One that did work, but if she did in fact seal away the seventh, there was no guarantee at the time that her powers would stay in her prison if she were to die of old age. So that sort of leads into the other theory that the seventh is immortal, or at least does not age. That's why the powers haven't gone anywhere, because someone still has it. They're just trapped, similar to the Destroyer and all of the prisoners the Iridians locked in vaults. They just sit there, waiting to be freed. Then again, it is possible the seventh doesn't want to be found. But for this to remain true from how long ago it was Nyriad knew this, the immortal theory would still have to remain valid. One of the interesting details about this reveal is that in my video, I talked about Nyriad's theory of there being a creator, a being that is the opposite of the Destroyer, but equally as frightening, and how that may be the answer to Siren's mystery. The thing about that, though, is it has nothing to do with the seventh. The seventh is a completely different and potentially separate problem to the future war. Nyriad heeds us a warning to not find the seventh. Yet, she explicitly states that none of the Sirens have any idea what their purpose is.
As the Siren Sisterhood, we were the keepers of many answers, but our own nature remained elusive. We never knew our origins nor our purpose. In this way, we are still undeniably mortal.
So somehow, the seventh is so dangerous, or so powerful, or so much of a threat, that Nyriad's final message to us is a plea not to find her, while at the same time, the seventh doesn't appear to hold the answers to a siren's purpose. Or, if she does, Nyriad didn't know. Now I'm gonna bring up something here that I didn't intend to, but it may be relevant. The Proving Grounds. I wasn't sure if this was the right place to talk about this. I originally intended to make a separate video, and I still may. But anyway, all 6 Proving Grounds are looked over by the Overseer, one of the more intelligent guardians similar to the Watcher. The very small bits of story they give us at the beginning and end of finishing each of the arenas for the first time all call into question whether or not we are worthy to be introduced to their new boss, for a lack of a better term.
Vault Hunter, I thought you might show up sooner or later. So naughty your species, so curious. The Vault of Vaults has been opened, and it has been released. Prove your worth, and I will reveal why the Masters made me wait for you. Naughty humans open the Vault of Vaults, but the Masters will determine who is at fault. Until next time, warrior. So, you've returned. Persistent, yes? Or stubborn? Or both? Are you so desperate to prove yourself? Then let us begin. Long ago, there was a brief spark. The first vault was open, a light in the dark. A riddle, yes. Perhaps it will unravel next time, Hunter. We were created for one purpose by our masters, and we couldn't even do that right. But don't blame us. When a cog breaks, point your finger at the artificer, not the cog. Are you a cog, Vault Hunter, or an artificer? Or both? Prove yourself worthy. Pity us not, though the world has been broken. Those who sleep will soon be awoken. Not long now, Seeker. The Iridians were our masters, but we failed them. They gave the order. Then silence. They vanished. Such is our fate, Vault Hunter. Servant to a master who has left the house so long ago. Prove to me that you deserve an introduction. We were supposed to guard the great jail, but no quarter for servants who fail. But servant, that is not quite right. Prisoner, that is what I am. Until next time, adventurer, I am a prisoner. But you, Vault Hunter, what are you? Hunter, warrior, hero. No matter what name I use, you return to prove yourself time and time again. But prove it to whom, I wonder? Perhaps you seek a greater audition. It has come to this, one last trial. But will your efforts be worthwhile? That we will determine next time, hero. A final chance to prove yourself. But will your reward be what you desire? A prisoner in a cell staring out at the fathoms of a sleeping universe. After a time, how would you know whether you were prisoner or master? Consider this while you prove yourself one last time. It is done, and my masters have taken note. Would you like to know what they told me right before they vanished? Beware the Vault Hunters. They will take your kind's place. Now I am free, and you are chained. Until next time.
The Iridians are all gone. They said they were made to protect and defend the Iridians, but now they are all dead. So it would seem that some of the Guardians are answering to someone else. Who that is still a mystery even after beating all of the proving grounds. We've already met the Watcher. Granted, the characters we're playing as haven't, but there's a huge question mark on what some of the Guardians are up to. So at the end of the day, we have a war that's yet to come. The possibility of there being another godlike being in the universe equivalent to that of the Destroyer, some new person who the more intelligent Guardians are answering to, and a 7th Siren lost to time. And you're telling me all of this is DLC? Maybe some of it, but there's still so much going on, all of which either have no connecting thread at all, or a very microfiber of one. Anyway guys, that was the crucial detail I failed to bring up in the previous video. A 7th exists somewhere. We are warned, but we do not know why. I genuinely want to know all of your thoughts on this topic, the topic of the Proving Grounds, the creator, literally any future lore you could think of. Let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to share this video around because I think the lore isn't talked about enough and I want to bring as much conversation and theories around it as possible. So anyway guys, if you did end up liking this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for all sorts of new Borderlands content. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.